a walk on the woo-woo side with me. My name is Michelle Douglas and I am on a mission to help you to step into your power so that you can create the life you desire. Visit me at empoweredlifeprograms.com to learn more. Why, hello there, lovelies. It's Michelle here and it's Wacky Wednesday. And I figured that for today, we might talk about red flags and how to spot them. Now, I am just shutting that down so I don't look like I'm on fire. Okay. So I've got a list here of 10 red flags and I will go through each one of them. And if you are dating someone who displays one or more of these, I suggest you move forward with caution, okay? All right, so the first one is lack of consistency. Their words and actions don't align and therefore you're struggling to trust them. Now, here's the thing. When a man's words and actions are out of alignment with each other, make sure you stay as detached as you possibly can. It could be that he's dating someone else. It could be that he has a soulmate contract in place. See the episode the other day about that one. And he's waiting for his soulmate to show up and you're like a whole part of the holding pattern process. It could be something like that, or it could just be a dishonest type person. So you just got to be really careful about that. So when you were dating a guy with lack of consistency, lean back and observe, okay? Disrespectful behavior. Okay, so they disrespect you, others, speak negatively about past partners. A big one, you see on movies and TV shows is where they treat the wait staff at the restaurant really rudely. That gives you an idea of the type of person he could be. And if he's disrespecting you now, he's showing you who he is and what he has to offer you. Is that what you want? Is that what you've been visualizing as your ideal partner for the future? If not, that might be something that you could bring up with him initially and go, you could say something like, this disrespect feels really bad. I don't want that in my life. See what he says. His response will probably be the answer you need as to whether to continue with him or not. If he retaliates with anger or something at you, then I would, in your shoes, walk away. Or he may actually move and start changing his behavior because he really values you and doesn't realize he's doing it. He's got an old pattern running that causes him to be disrespectful. Could be that he was abused as a child, for example. Now, I'm not condoning it, but if he doesn't create the change, so if that shift stays, great. If it doesn't, you've got to move on because it's not going to change otherwise unless he gets help. Controlling nature is the third one. And I may have been with someone like this. So they try to control your actions, your decisions. They may even isolate you from friends and family. Now, another thing, I don't think anyone is going to write must be controlling on their desirable list, right? Or even on their essential list. Of course not. And unfortunately, what will happen is this controlling nature may not come out till after the initial stages of dating. So it's really a hard one to do something about if you're already invested. But here's the thing. In this day and age, it's so much easier to get help than when I was in this situation myself. We have the internet, we've got online forums, online groups, and, things like that. And it's really, really, this can lead to more negative behavior from him that may actually put your safety in jeopardy. And you've got to think too, and one thing I did when I left my first husband is it's like, well, would I want my child to go through this when she's an adult with a man? And the answer was no way in hell. And so I knew I had to leave him at the time, it was for her sake, not for mine, unfortunately. But I left for her because I didn't want her thinking this was okay. So think about that. If you've got children, do you want them to go through this? Because if you are staying with him and he's controlling you, what are you telling your children? Okay. What message are you sending? And while you allow this to happen, you're actually also telling him to keep doing it. And that was a hard pill to swallow when the counselor said that to me after, like at the end of my first marriage, because he insisted on counseling after I'd been asking for it for years. And it was really clear from her perspective that I was allowing it to keep the peace. Yeah, not good. Okay, excessive and irrational jealousy. So if they become possessive over minor interactions as well and jealous, there's obviously some insecurity going on there. And again, it's one of those things you need to bring up, see what happens, and watch their response to that and what they do about it. If they don't go and get help for it, then they're showing you who they are and who they plan to continue being. And if you don't want that in your life, then if you stay and let it continue, you're saying to him, it's okay, I want that in my life. That's what you're giving. That's the message you are giving him. Okay. Poor communication. They avoid meaningful conversations, secretive or unwilling to discuss important topics. So I've been cheated on someone like this, and yeah, poor communication, I've realized, is really important, is really a big red flag for me personally, because I like to communicate. And having now been married to a man who's so good at communication, who's so open with his communication, even if he, wants to say something that might not feel good to me, like at the more difficult conversations, he will speak up, even if it might be uncomfortable. So I've been with the non-communicator and I've been with the communicator, even if it's the bad stuff. And it's much better being with a communicator because I know where I stand. I know where things are with us at all times. So if I'm doing something that annoys Laurie, very rare, of course, he will tell me. And I know that if he's doing something that annoys me, which is also very rare, I will tell him. And, you say it in a loving, supportive way, but yeah, this is really, really important. And it's really quite frustrating and disappointing when you've got something really important to discuss with him and he just won't be there and won't hold space for you to have that conversation. And, this takes me back to your essentials list on your, what you want in a man. And I would hope that you've got good communication skills on there. So again, you've got that deal breaker and you've got to stand by that boundary. And again, you can bring it up. He might need to get help with it because he might have been shut down previously and he's afraid to open up again and be vulnerable. So yeah, there's often a reason why people are the way they are. So if they go and get the help and they step out of that old pattern, great. But if they refuse to do that, then you've got to decide, is this something I want for the rest of my life or not? Okay. Number 6, lack of accountability. So they never take responsibility for their actions and they always blame others for their mistakes. I know a few people who are like this. And yeah, you'll never be able to please this guy. And he will never admit when he has done the wrong thing by you potentially. So yeah, that's when then refusing to take responsibility for their actions and always blame others. That to me tells me there's an unidentified wound down deep in there that hasn't yet been addressed. And people like that are usually, they might have been beaten up as a kid or something like that and are afraid of retaliation if they have done something so-called wrong, and they push it all aside. But that doesn't make for a healthy adult relationship. So again, if he's not prepared to get the help for it, you need to decide, is that what I want? And do I want to have that forever? Okay. Inconsistent availability. Okay, so cancels plans last minute, frequently unavailable, or only in contact when it's convenient for him. To me, if you're in the early stages of dating in particular, he's probably seeing someone else or he's married. I have had a guy once, oh God, this is 20 odd years ago. He had my name in his phone as Mick, which is initially made me go, something's off here. Anyway, it turns out, yes, he was married. But yeah, it's one of those things where you need to lean back, do not invest, because it's probably going to bite you if you do invest, okay? Emotionally, I mean. So make sure you lean back and observe. Yes, when you're on a date, enjoy your date, show the appreciation, allow him to give to you, but don't over invest. That's the big, big, big thing. Until he's able to step up and be the man you want him to be, who is making you a priority, then you might need to be, dating others. It's not like you're in a relationship, right? So just something to think about. And that's something I can talk you through in our coaching calls when we're working together. So yeah, because that's something I actually did do. I was dating more than one person at a time. And that's purely because there was no relationship with anyone and no one was stepping up per se. So, and, just one of those things. But yeah, we can talk about that. Okay, number 8, fast forwarding. So they really want to push and create an intense relationship really early on without taking time to build a solid foundation. And this is actually something I've been through twice, and they've both ended in divorce. So we moved very, very, very quick. Living together within a few weeks, it was it was just like shung. And don't get me wrong, I've got no regrets about what happened in my past, because they may be the person I am today. And they actually are the reason why I'm able to help others go through this sort of thing, because I've been there, done that, and I now have the T-shirt and can show you the way out more quickly than the way I did it. But yeah, when they really love bombing you, we call this, when they love bomb you, that can link into controlling behavior as well. So you just got to be very careful when you do meet someone who is trying to fast forward you faster than you would think is appropriate. And again, have your boundaries, set them, stand by them. Frequent anger or mood swings. Yeah, I've had this one too. So short temper, they display aggressive behavior, or they have unpredictable mood swings. These guys are not people who are a joy to be around all the time. Mind you, when they're not in their anger or moody state, they're actually quite lovely. But then something triggers them and bam, like you're bearing the brunt of whatever's going on for them, or someone around them is bearing the brunt of that. First thing you got to ask yourself is, do I want this for myself forever? And if not, you need to speak to him about his anger issues and say, you need to get some help with this. Without saying it that way. Another way would be to say, look, I really feel afraid or upset whenever you go into these states. What can we do about it? Now, is there something I can help you with? See what happens. But if he's not prepared to get the help to deal with his aggressive behavior or moods, or his terrible mood swings, then you need to decide whether you want to stay in that situation or not. Okay. History of dishonesty. Yes, I have a certain ex-husband who was very dishonest, and he had this pattern of lying, keeping secrets, or his stories didn't add up. Now, he used to throw stuff out that like sentimental items that I had in a jewelry box. He threw the whole thing out once and lied about it. And there were a whole lot of other things going on in that marriage that made me realize that he was lying throughout the whole bloody thing. And honesty is important. Like, it's one of my highest values. If you're not going to be honest with me, then let's just not be in each other's company anymore. So I wish I knew then what I know now. And it's just that you look at this man, the way he is showing up for you, and decide, do I want this for the rest of my life? Don't do what I did and think, oh yeah, but he'll wake up one day and a miracle will happen and he'll change, or he'll see what he's got in me, or he'll suddenly, things are going to change. He's going to treat me better. No, he's not. If he's not actively going to get help for whatever of these red flags and more that he's displaying, he's not going to want to. Well, he's not doing it because he doesn't want to. That's the thing. If he really wants to change, he will do something about it. And that's what you need to really get clear on when you're observing what he is doing and saying. Is he taking action to create that change that, addresses issues that he's currently displaying? Or is he just telling you he's working on it and it keeps happening? If it keeps happening, he's showing you who he is. It's just like the smoking thing. Like if you meet a guy and he tells you that he's a smoker, but he's trying to give up. If he hasn't given up yet, it's because he doesn't want to. And 6 months or 6 years down the track, if he's still smoking, you'll know that he never intended to give up while he was with you. So, yeah, just something to think about. But if you recognize these red flags early on, they can help you to make informed decisions about whether to continue pursuing a relationship with them. And you need to protect your emotional and physical well-being as well by stepping back and observing what he's doing and making sure that you keep your investment in him as low as you possibly can, because it will bite you if you think he's going to change and he hasn't actually taken specific action to do so. So I'll leave you with that one, and let's try for something more positive tomorrow.